Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast. So everyone knows the month of April is NPMM, National Pest Management Month. And this month I wanted to do something a little bit different than normal. Is I wanted to talk to real technicians out in the field. I didn't want to give my experiences. I didn't really want to talk about me or what I know. I want to talk to you guys. I want to know what you guys are doing. And today is actually a really cool one. So we have a native Californian, but unfortunately he doesn't live here anymore. Or fortunately, actually. I'm a little jealous that he lives out in Florida. So Naeem Hamid is in the Fort Myers, Florida area, and he is going to talk a little bit about himself, and we're going to ask him some tough questions. I'm just joking with you. Are you there, Naeem?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, man, I'm happy that we finally got to connect. I know we had some issues there for a little bit, but we finally did it.
Yeah, I'm glad, man. I'm glad to be on. This podcast is a blessing. It is.
Oh, well, hey, that's awesome to hear. And I'm doing that, and the whole purpose of the podcast was to help technicians and give that knowledge back, so they didn't go through what I went through personally. So I'm glad that you're listening. I'm glad that it's been helping you out.
Yeah, it's awesome to listen to, especially the Free Talk Fridays. You go over the place.
Yeah, it's been fun. Yeah, definitely fun about throwing a twist into it. So. But Naeem, let's jump right into it. How did you get into the pest control industry?
Man, honestly, I had no idea about pest control. I didn't even know it was a thing, really. I just got married to my wife, and we moved into some projects, so to speak. Anyways, ended up dealing with German roaches in this. Yeah, so I threw everything at them but the kitchen sink. All right, I mean, we bombed the place. We did everything that we could think, and it's like these roaches came back with vengeance. Anyways, we ended up moving, and we thought that we were fine, and then I guess we moved, and I mean, we packed the U-Haul truck, we sprayed everything in the U-Haul, we sprayed everything outside, we unpacked outside, we thought we were doing everything we could to make sure these roaches didn't come with us. But after moving to the new place, we would see like one here, one there, and I don't know, long story short, we were doing laundry, and I saw somebody, treating for pests in a laundromat. So I asked them, hey man, do you like your job? Because I'm working at a warehouse right now, and I kind of don't like it. And he's like, yeah, man, I love my job. It's awesome. You get your own truck, you don't have to worry about a boss over you all the time. And so I just thought about it. So, all right, let me apply. And I applied, and there's actually a story behind that, but they didn't have a position for me, and I just was persistent. And after 2 months later, after applying, they called me back and started working at Fort Myers Pest Control. So
that's awesome.
That's the story.
And so, did you ever actually hire someone to come in and take care of the German roaches?
It's funny. Like, I was that guy that was like, no, I could take care of it. So my wife was adamant about getting somebody in there, but I was like, no, we got it. So no, we didn't until I started working. And I talked to my boss about it. I was like, because I didn't know that they were German roaches. I just thought they were just roaches, whatever. I heard of, you heard of the infamous German roaches, but you don't know that that's what they were. At least I didn't. Yeah. And so I did a German roach clean out. I did a German roach clean out. I was being trained for one, and I was like, oh, these are the same roaches I have.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh! So you just went through. You got hired on, and then you're like, oh, these are the same roaches that I got at my place, so I got to do it at my house now to get rid of them. And so did you treat your own house? Yeah.
Well, so my boss, I told him about it. I said, look, I don't want to just like take company products or anything, but I got this problem in my house, and he was like, "Oh, I will never let my employees deal with any pest issues. So what we're going to do is like we're going to take you to your house and just train you on germ roach clean out, their protocol." And got rid of it after like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It was gone with the method that that they use, and it was good. I was happy. My wife was happy. I was happy because my wife was
happy. That's always how it works. So that's awesome though. So that you got a personal experience with German roaches at your own house, and you got to take care of it. That's cool. I mean, not a fun situation, but that's cool that you got to do that.
Yeah, not fun at all, but yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh yeah, well, and you have the story now. So when you walk into houses or apartments or anything, and they're like, "I have German roaches," you can say, "I know exactly what you're going through."
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know where to look. I know.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, you know it all. You're right there with it. You did it, and I had that experience with bed bugs.
Really?
I think
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that. You talked about that, didn't you?
Yeah, I talked about it. So I had bed bugs, and actually at the time I wasn't a technician. This was years before I even became a technician, but I went through that. So when people say, "Oh, I have bed bugs," I can relate. I can be like, "I know, I've had them too." So
yeah.
But sure. Man, so now how long have you been in the industry?
3 years now. I got hired when my son was born. I got hired a couple days before he was born. My first day was like a couple days after he was born. So that was the beginning of March 2018. So it's a little over 3 years, that I've been there now. So
dang, that's good.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. And you got sucked into the pest control. Now you can't get out.
I did. I can't. I'm stuck.
That's what happens to everybody. They get in and they don't understand that being a tech is so different. You don't have a boss over you, 24/7. You're on your own. You start when you need to start. You end when you need to end. And even sometimes you get that freedom. You can end early if you're getting your day done.
Yeah.
And
exactly. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's something else.
I never realized it. I mean, and then when I started working at pest control, I just started seeing trucks everywhere. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've never seen so many different companies, So it's funny how you don't know about something until you get into it, and then you're like, your mind is open up, and you see that, especially in Southwest Florida, like where I'm at, we have so many different pest control companies all over the place.
Oh yeah, well you're in like pretty much the tropics, so I mean it's nice and warm. You have every just insects all over the place. So, but have you? So is this this company that you started with? Is this the same one that you've been with the entire time, the entire 3 years?
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay, and so now being in it, so how does it work out in Florida? When it comes to licensing and becoming a technician, how was that process? What did you do?
Well, just being a technician, you instantly, day one, you get taught a couple things. My boss's favorite thing is the label is the law. He makes sure the hounds out on you, but they apply for your application license as soon as you get the job, and you're allowed to apply even before you even get the applicator's license. It's nothing like California where I guess you have to have one, so after 3 years you're able to get your license. You have to have 3 years worth of stops or whatever. You have to go through the everything else. Turn in your jobs or whatever, and then take a test. Once you take your test, you pass. I believe you got to pass with like a 70, I believe, and then you can get your GHP license. And yeah, you're good there. There's GHP, lawn ornamental, termite, and fume. There's 4 different licenses over here that you can have. So I'm already ready. Actually, I'm technically April 23rd, I'm able to go and take my test. So my county is different. I can't take one in my county because they have to set it up in person. You have to do 3 months in advance. If you go to a different county, you can take yours online the same day that you're eligible. So
that's cool.
Here.
So
yeah.
So just to make sure I'm correct, so when you get into the pest control industry and you're starting as a technician, do you get an applicator's license, or you get like a little?
Yeah, you get a temp one. So
okay,
they send one out and they send you like a temp one that you can print out until that you get yours mailed back. You know what I mean? And then you have one. You have a license number, everything. You're registered. If you were to look your name up in from the state of Florida, you can find my name's unique, so all I have to look up is Naeem.
Yeah.
And I can find my license number, everything on there pretty easily. But yeah, you get a temp license, not temp, but like a sprayer's license, applicator's license.
Yeah. Okay. And then you need 3 years before you can get your. You said it's a GPS. What was it?
GHP. Yeah. GHP. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so once you have that license essentially, because in California, how it works is you have your applicators, which is like what you would get when you first jump in. And then you choose your branch. Like you were saying, you can do termite and fumigation. Same with here. So it's a branch. You have branch 1, 2, and 3. But then you can have your operator's license. So what would be that license? Is that like your operator's license where you now could, here you can, companies have to run under an operator's license, or would it be like a branch two? Oh, okay. So they don't just have like a regular branch license where, hey, look, you can't essentially, a company wouldn't run under your license, but you're a technician, you can do everything.
Yeah, so our companies, they're licensed underneath a few people, right? So we have somebody that has lawn and ornamental. I think there's 2 people there, and then there's somebody else with termite, somebody else with fume, and multiple people with GHP. But they have to have one person at least in order to start their business to run an actual business. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love asking about that because it's always so interesting how different states do different things and call it different names, and it's actually starting to become a little bit of a pattern. I'm noticing it's all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting because even when I was getting into becoming an operator, I needed 2 years, but I needed 2 years with a branch 2, which is your structural pests. So it's not termites or fumigation or anything like that. It's just your general pests. But you have to have 2 years to be able to get that operator's license. And then the operator's license now includes that branch too. But then you can add in all the other branches as well, which would include termite work and things like that under the operator's license. So it's kind of interesting how that works. But that's cool. Okay. So now you're coming up on the day where you can actually take that test.
Yeah, I'm excited. For sure.
That's awesome. Do they do pay raises where you are if you take and pass that test?
Yeah. I mean, at first you have to pay for everything yourself. Because the owner of the company, he's under the philosophy that you got to put, you have skin in the game. So you pay for everything first, or whatever the fees are. If you want to take a class, pay for the class right before the test. They usually have like this couple-hour class, going over the law, going over every little thing that you need to know, and then the next day you'll take a test. But if you pass, the company that I work for, they will pay you back with everything that you paid for, and it's like $50 a week on top of your paycheck per licenses you can get for here. So.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a good help too. So that's not bad. Yeah, that's cool. So so now being in it, you're in 3 years, you're almost taking that test. What would you say, what has been like the main thing that you've become an expert in? Is there a pest that you're like, easy? I walk in, I know exactly where to find them, I know how to take care of them. They're dead.
Yeah, man. German roaches.
Okay.
I promise you, like, I just know where they're at all the time. I had a company that they use a pest control company to get rid of German roaches. And it's like a top account, it's off of the island, Sanibel Island. And they said, yeah, we'll get rid of German roaches in a month. We'll take care of it. And they just, sprayed and prayed and didn't get rid of any German roaches. Not any, they killed a few, but
yeah,
there was a pocket somewhere I guess they didn't know. And I walked in there and I just knew. I was like, oh, let me look behind the fridge. I looked on top of the refrigerator. I could see droppings, and I went behind there, and sure enough, in the corner on top behind the cabinets, about 50 German roaches just sitting there, like they're scared to come down because they know they'll die. You know what I mean? So, took care of it, and I actually learned how to get rid of German roaches. Yes, initially for my company, but after a year in pest control, I got interested in just podcasts. So I found a podcast actually. Frank Hernandez, he's out in Miami, Pest Geek podcast. I'm not sure if you know about it, but he has this. He pretty much teaches everybody how to clean out German roaches, just with baiting. And I talked with my boss about it because we have a method where we spray and then bait afterwards. But I just wanted to try this method of only baiting. And there was the first time I did it, it was really difficult. I dealt with a lady, she had German roaches. Literally every corner of her ceiling, there was like a pocket of just roaches. And in the kids' bath and bedroom and all the bathrooms, underneath the beds, it was bad. And that was my first time to do this baiting method. I probably spent like a good 2-3 hours in this lady's house the first service. I wanted to prove to myself and prove to my boss, like, I can do this. And ever since then, I don't know. German roaches, I'm not intimidated by them at all. Like, I'm ready. It's easy money to me. I see German roaches.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's I know I talk about Pest World a lot on the podcast, and that's one where me and another guy here, we actually went there and we learned a ton of different methods on how to take care of them. And so now we have 2 different methods that completely wipe them out. So that's awesome. That's awesome that you got to at least convince your boss to let you try something new and different, which is really hard to do. But you had the courage to at least step up and do it.
Yeah, he denied me a couple times, but me being persistent, and this job was it was kind of given to us like for free, kind of. We didn't have to worry about the lady paying for it and then failing, like getting her upset that we failed. Somebody else was end up paying for it. It was in an area that she lived in. She was a renter, but she was renting there like a long time, So it was like thrown. It was thrown at me, and he said, "You know what? Try it." And we tried it, and it was difficult, but I'm thankful that he allowed me to do that because it's awesome to be able to learn and expand your knowledge when it comes to pest control. So.
Oh, okay.
Fun.
Yeah, no, but that's cool. That's cool that you went through that experience. Now you have more information underneath your belt that you can actually pull out and use in certain, situations. So I'm assuming you guys don't use, or did you ever use like an Actisol machine or a fogger?
No, man, I never even heard that. So I started listening to your podcast. Yeah, I have no idea like what that even is at all.
Man, I'm telling you, when it comes to a single family home, that is a game changer. When it you want to use it with bed bugs, you want to use it with cockroaches. I'm telling you, it's next level because it's just a high pressurized tank. So there's just a pump in there, and all you're doing is essentially it's taking the chemical mix that you put in that tank, and then it flushes everything out. Any crack and crevice. If you want to see roaches falling from the sky, go in there with that little machine.
Hey, maybe I can talk to my boss about that.
Yeah, they're a little spendy, and so out here, a lot of companies, they're kind of weird about it. I'm not that way, but a lot of companies are, there has to be a cockroach specialist that uses it because they are a little expensive. You're looking at he'd be spending $1,000 to $1,500 for it. but how fast you can get in and out of a house. I was doing apartments in 20 minutes, full cockroach treatments, in that small of a time frame, and with amazing results.
That's amazing. 20 minutes, man. That's for a German roach clean out. That's crazy.
Because you're just dropping them so fast. So the first one's a little bit longer, but after that, it's a very quick process if you're ready with it and you have everything. But yeah, that's a cool thing. But that's awesome. So you are the cockroach specialist. They send you on a big majority of them?
My route actually has a lot of them. So that's what I'm talking to our boss about right now. I'm going to work. So I'm asking him to see if I can even do like a cleanup. If somebody can't get rid of German roaches, just send me over there, take care of it, or even maybe to the point where I'd be the specialist. That's the idea, but we'll see. Right now, it's like once I learned this method, it's as if this German roach jobs were just coming at me. I wasn't even looking for them; they just all appeared. So it's crazy.
So were you doing just regular houses, or were you doing actual like apartment complexes, or what?
Yeah, so my route is like mixed up, right? So I have renovated like the trailers, the RV trailers. I have actual homes, and I have this one condominium that I have like 36 buildings. I do about 18 buildings a month, and it was in that building. So I had more, but my route was a little too big, so they ended up giving out the rest of my condominiums to other places. But yeah, I'm all over the place. I've done everything from businesses to, you name it, every type of pest control. I've pretty much done it at this point for my route.
Oh, okay. And so right now are you mainly just residential, or do you get a mix of business and residential?
Right now, mainly residential.
Okay. So you're going through that route and taking care of them. Oh, so you're probably not running into too many cockroach cleanouts then anymore.
Yeah, I know. I mean, besides these there's people on the beach. I don't know. They guess must have a lot of parties with people, and they're getting roaches. So, like I said, it's crazy because you would expect roaches to be more in a restaurant setting or a business setting or things like that. But like I probably have 2 business accounts and 1 condominium every month. The rest are all residentials, and I'm getting a lot over here. I don't know what's going on. People are just bringing their roaches all over the place, but I'm getting a lot with my residentials, believe it or not.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's a hit and miss out here. Multifamily homes, apartment complexes, things like that. That's usually where we get a ton of them. And just recently in a few restaurants where we've had to go in, and that's another one where you'll use the Actisol machine. That little fogger in restaurants is a really big help in getting rid of them and control. So, but Naeem, what's a crazy experience or something that you ran into that you just has stuck with you over these years?
Oh man, like concerning like a job, like doing a job, or
yeah, just a situation with insects. You walk into a problem. It was just crazy.
I guess doing German roaches, like my craziest one was my first time I did a bait only, and like I said earlier, it was this lady. She has like 6 or 7 kids, really young kids, and I opened the door and just roaches are falling, from the door, and there's this roach dropping on the outside of the door, when you knock on the door, and instantly I knew, oh my goodness, this is terrible,
Yeah.
And you just feel bad because kids are in this environment, and each one do the best you can, but what's awesome was she actually didn't want us spraying because she felt that wasn't good for her kids, So it was a win-win on my part, and for me to see just like German roaches, like because we know the anatomy of a roach, right? We know how a female, like, 5 feet away from a water source, and a male 7 feet, and a nymph 1 foot, a pregnant female about 1 foot from a water source. And when I tell you that there were nymphs, like, in the ceilings, like, the corner of every ceiling, every corner, it was crazy to me, to see that it can get that bad. I mean, when I had German roaches, it got bad. We were throwing bombs and trying to do stuff ourselves, but it wasn't nowhere near that bad, And when I got done with that job, I was dreaming about roaches for about 4 days. Every night,
oh man,
I was dreaming about these roaches and them just looking at me and eating bait that I'm placing out. It was insane, but something that was cool, there was an area where I didn't get bait at all, like on top of the cabinet. There was space between the ceiling and the cabinet. But the way, obviously, how the bait works, it's a transfer effect on how it kills, and there was just thousands of dead roaches on top of these cabinets, when I went to go inspect up there. And it was insane. It was absolutely insane. I never forget that lady. Never forget that apartment.
Oh yeah. Have you run into one that's worse than that, or has that been the one that topped it all?
Right now, that's been the one. No, actually, you know what? I'll take it back. Before I started doing the baiting method, we did run into one where it was a house, and typically they say, yeah, my daughter does, she does a lot of fast food, carry it, take home, and she brought roaches from the fast food place. Okay, sir, how long has it been there? How long has it had roaches? A couple of weeks. Like, okay, walk in the house, and the roaches are just scattered. We go into a room. There's cobwebs all over the place, and it was terrible. You could smell it. I didn't know the smell of a German roach. I don't think my nose is that sensitive, but for that house, I smelled it for the first time. I was like, oh my goodness, that's terrible. But no, that house was actually the worst. We ended up we weren't able to help the guy out because he wasn't able to pay, for the clean out. He said it was too expensive. And man, I believe they charged him a reasonable price for what he had, so.
Yeah, some people, I mean, it does come down to finances if you can't take care of it, but yeah, there is that distinct smell. And so anyone new who's jumping into the industry, if you haven't smelt it yet, or a real infested area, a house, an apartment, you'll smell it, and it's strong. It's potent if there's enough of them.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh yeah, I've done it even where, I'm just spraying houses and I know they have them. I walk in and I smell it, and I know they have roaches. They don't say anything, but I know they do. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy the smell they have to it. It's the weirdest thing. But so in your experience of jumping on, kind of learning everything, because you were brand new to the industry, right?
Yeah, I was.
So being
never heard,
Yeah, so being brand new to the industry, not really knowing technicians, fumigation, what we do, what would you tell someone who's either interested or just barely getting into the industry? What would you tell them?
Read your label. I mean, if you could read your label, you can take care of any situation that comes your way. You have multiple products, hopefully. Hopefully you have multiple products to take care of things. And if you read your label and understand what you can and can't do without listening to someone word of mouth, I think that's better, because I feel like there's a lot of misconception sometimes in the industry where people, I've been doing this for, 10, 15 years, and they'll tell you, it's impossible. I remember technicians telling me, it's impossible to get rid of German roaches with bait alone, and it's like, well, you read the label, not even listening to other people that say they've done it. You read the label, it says it can be done, So reading the label, I guess, would be the number one thing, and not just the safety precautions, which we need to know, but, what a dose is, how you're supposed to take care of it, how often can you come back, things like that. I feel like is amazing, but also just asking around. If I ask one person and they tell me something, I like to ask at least 2 or 3 different people, to see what they've learned with their own experience, and I don't know, I feel like that's the best thing you can do, because when you're sent out there as a technician, a lot of the times, you just got to get the job done. You're treating homes, you gotta, how many stops you have to do a day, your job's to finish it. But after a while, most people, in my opinion, they should get to a place of, you know what, I kind of want to learn more about what I'm doing. I don't want to just spray this and kill the bug. I want to understand why is it killing the bug, and I think if you were to get curiosity in your spirit on how you're applying, why you're applying, where you're applying, why they're coming in these places, if you can understand these concepts, I think it'll give you an edge to be one of the best technicians out there. Your customers will know it. They will understand that they're not just hiring you to boss you around where to spray, but they're hiring you to take care of the problems they have, and they'll trust you as a professional. Something that I had an issue with the first year that I started was I was the bug guy, right? Come here, bug guy, spray your bug juice over here, spray your bug juice over here, do all this stuff, right? And it's like, it's as if they hired somebody as if they were buying, home defense, at the store, or any other type of thing you can buy just at, Home Depot or something. And they're just paying you because they don't want to spray themselves. You know what I mean? So they're telling you where to apply products. And if you can learn the anatomy of everything and learn the products, you'll know the best way to take care of your problems and cut down on retreats.
Yeah. No. I agree 100% with you. I think the knowledge is so massive in the industry that you're always going to be learning something new, but find that, that spark that keeps you going and learning more and understanding what, that insect is and does. I have there's a really good episode that's going to be coming out with Control Solutions. They make a lot of products, and I actually got to ask them how the products actually kill an insect. And so that was really, it was an awesome experience for me. And they even, from their professional opinion with the products they have, this is how you can best control certain insects. And this is how, different products and how you're going to use them. And so it was a really cool experience, but that all comes down to, looking and learning, guys saying that where, there's not one way to, the saying is there's not one way to skin a cat. And that's the pest control industry. We have so many different products, so many different chemicals. There's so much out there, it's almost impossible to say that's not going to work. Because it's all about the dosage, where you're spraying it. Yeah, if I spray a baseboard, of course I'm not going to eliminate a German cockroach infestation, right? But if I'm doing it, in the correct way and I'm hitting every crack and crevice, that's not impossible.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But that you're absolutely correct on that. It's stay humble. What I tell everyone, even for me, because I at one point thought I knew a lot because I read the labels. I was studying all the stuff. And then, I got humbled because I went to classes and I'm talking to these specialists and they're saying, no, that's wrong. I'm like, what? How is that wrong? And then they go and educate me on what is the correct way to do it or how to really do it. And what's really, what's going on today. And that's what people have to realize. What are the products and what's going on today? Not what was done 10 years ago. No. What's today?
Exactly. So. Exactly. Everything, if it's growing, it changes. Just with everything, nature shows that. When something grows, it changes. You have kids, right? They grow, they change. You have an industry. If it's a growing industry, there's going to be change within that industry. And I believe we as humans sometimes we tend to hate change, or we tend to, not resist against change. But a lot of this change is good. If you can find out, what's the new thing going on, and not just to jump on someone's bandwagon and, just to buy products in the name of buying products. But if there's new methods, that can help out in different situations, it's awesome to be able to find just multiple ways to take care of the same bug, because, if you run into that struggle of, I'm doing germ roaches a certain way, or I'm doing bed bugs a certain way, or I'm doing this a certain way, and we cannot, for whatever reason, with this house, we can't get it under control. That's why it's good to be able to throw different methods out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you have to have that. So, I mean, it's just that repetition of, if you think that one way is the only way, you're going to get humbled in this industry real quick. Cause you will run into that situation where that does not work. You can't use that method, or you're in a sensitive situation where it's an old folks home and you can't, spray a bunch of chemicals everywhere, fumigate or anything like that. So there, you always have to have something else you could do. And there is always something else you can do.
That's right.
So now, before we end, is there anything that you want to ask me?
Yeah, man, it's probably rhetorical, but what is up with the California laws out there with and everything else? I'm scared for the rest of us. Right now we can use a lot of products over here in Florida, but I'm hearing news articles right now like eaglets dying, and they're finding trace amounts of rodenticide, and all I can think about is your guys over there only be able to use, I believe it's like Fast Track, right, and other types of rodenticide.
Yeah, so we're pretty restricted. So California is, they're the leaders of like, let's not do anything, and let these bugs just take over. So believe me, there was this off on a quick tangent to talk about that. There was a class we just took by a bunch of, these are professors. These guys are the lawmakers. They're the ones that are doing this. Okay, they're the ones that are deciding what's happening, and they really messed up because they had it to where I could actually ask them questions, and it was a chat, so it was over Zoom.
Yeah.
Don't open that up for me, because I am going to ask you everything, and I am going to put you in the situation of a technician, and I'm going to make your logic. I'm going to put it back onto you to answer. You just made a law, so what's the logic behind this now? And
exactly.
I had a guy. So the guy that I buy my chemicals from, he was actually watching this class too, and everybody can see these questions popping up. Well, he eventually sent me a message saying, "Hey, you probably should stop asking these guys these questions."
Yeah, well, you guys gonna get audited again? Stop playing around.
Yeah, no, and he was just like, "You should not feed this fire, because they're not technicians. They're not the ones that are actually doing the work. They don't understand what law they just put into place." So, California, yes, we're super strict, but we're human, okay? We figure it out. We find a new way. And so, like rodenticides, we got really crappy rodenticides right now that we can use. But we found another way, so now we just have to focus more on rodent exclusion and trapping. And so there's just different methods. So, instead of getting rid of them on your property, we just have to make sure they're not getting inside the house.
Yeah, I think what's powerful though about the podcast too is the fact that you're based out of California. That was something that I found interesting, because I kind of wanted to listen to places where it is more strict, because if you can get rid of pests and using less type of products, I feel like that's where we all should learn, just in case. You never know, right? You never know when they're gonna pass laws in our states and our areas, and to already be ready and equipped. It's like you guys are being like the guinea pig, the experiment, and we get to watch on from afar and poke fun at you at times, but in all seriousness, you can learn from it a lot. So
oh yeah, and poke fun all you want. We're in it. I have to live it. So and I'm frustrated sitting in it, but at the end of the day, it's a service that we have to get done, and we have to help people, and we have to help businesses. we, once again, with the pandemic, we just saw that it disrupted so many companies and so many people failed. And we stuck through it. It didn't even phase us in the pest control industry. And it may have in few, companies, but, we stuck through it strong, and we were deemed an essential company. And so as much as these guys want to get as strict as possible and take so much away from us, they can't get rid of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean,
we're needed.
What was that?
We're needed. Yeah, we're absolutely needed.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, I mean, it is crazy. Definitely look from afar. Keep that in mind with some of the stuff that's coming out and the laws that we're passing. You're probably safe over in Florida. So don't worry about rodenticides. That might stick, that might stay for a while. But I feel bad for like Oregon, Washington, New York might get hit really hard with it. Some of the stricter states are definitely going to crack down. And it seems like we are the ones that are going to cause that. So sorry, guys. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me, Naeem?
Yeah, I mean, I guess something that I didn't know maybe if you've even looked up or heard about, but I know most people with pest control, we do structural sprays around the outside of a house, and a lot of people spray a lot of products, but I've heard from some people that we can cut down in a lot of the water that we use with spraying. You spraying less but still getting the same amount. Have you ever looked into that? On a business owner end to save money when it comes to products or anything like that?
Mm-hmm. Well, so so when I actually first was getting licensed, we were taught 10 gallons of water, mixed product, onto a property. Every single property, depending on the size, you go up to 15 to 20 gallons.
Wait, 10 gallons per property?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. So you'd mix in, so we have a 30 gallon tank on the truck, and you'd be spraying, anywhere from, they were always trying to put 10 gallons. Now that was kind of before, that's what they were teaching when I was getting licensed. The company actually never did that. When I jumped on, we were doing probably 5 gallons. We were doing about half of that. Now we're down to probably about a gallon of property, maybe a gallon and a half.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. So, the new products that are coming out, they've made them safer. They've made them more effective. And so now as technicians, we have to learn where to spray. And not just how much. Before it was, I'm just going to soak your entire house and property, and it's just going to kill everything. But back then, the products were actually really good too. The only problem was they just kept on killing. They didn't ever break down. So it was almost an overkill. But we've really brought it down. So we've stepped away from tank sprayers. One, because of the laws that have come out and actually kind of disrupted that. But also you can control where you're spraying and how much you're spraying with a backpack sprayer. So at my company, we don't use a tank sprayer anymore. We only use backpack sprayers. And we've cut do
you have a tank at least for water, or is it just you fill up at each house there?
No, so we do have tanks.
Okay.
So we have tanks on the trucks. Some of the trucks will have a mixed tank, so they're all pre-mixed. So they're just filling up their backpack sprayer just to make everything go faster, so we're more efficient.
Yeah.
Other trucks that are more commercial, focused, that's just fresh water. So they can fill up their B&G, they can fill up their backpack. They have more leeway with what they can do with it. So they're not going to pre-mix anything. It's just going to be, you're mixing everything right on the moment, right on the job to get it done. But we're cutting that way back. So my guys now are only filling their tank up every 3-4 days maybe, and it's 3-gallon tank. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, so we're using a lot less product. We're not putting a ton of product out there. We're not getting people exposed to this product, animals exposed to this product. So we're doing pretty good on keeping it about to the minimal. Like this is, we're probably right at that threshold of if you're not spraying anymore or you're spraying less, you're probably going to have a ton of issues.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's neat.
Yeah, but I mean, the main thing is where. Where are you spraying? And, that's a main thing. Just like you're talking about German cockroaches and knowing where you're putting that bait and where to find them and how that works. That's the same with the products, that you could probably get out in Florida is where are you spraying it? Are you just grabbing the reel and you're just soaking the grass, the lawn, the house, everything? There's probably a better way than just that, So So we are cutting it way back. So we have cut it way down. So we're about that gallon, 2 gallons at a property max.
Yeah, I gotcha. Over here in Fort Myers, we have a lot of pool cages. And I've yet to hear you guys talk about on your podcast about handling pool cages like spiders. On pool cages. Do you guys deal with a lot of pool cages out there, or
no? So so we actually don't have that at all, and I'm assuming that's for the alligators.
No,
or I don't know what it's for, or mosquitoes, or what.
Not for alligators, man. That's funny you said that though.
Hey,
I just thought
you hear honestly, Florida and it's gators, man.
I could be wrong, but I always thought that everybody had pool cages, So I'm hearing, you're servicing your homes and you don't have a pool cage. I'm like, so what do? You guys don't have pool cages at all?
No. So there's no pool cages out here. So now I'm really interested. Now I got to do the research because it sounds like you don't even know what they're doing.
I don't. We wipe down pool cages, but it's like, it's inevitable they come probably the next day, So I know there's certain treatments you can do, but I was just interested in what you guys did, and I've yet to hear you talk about, wiping down a pool cage and things like that. So
no, so we don't deal with that, but when it comes to where there's a house close to water, that's always where you're getting it the worst. That's going to be with spider webs, spiders, but the main thing is, once again, it's where you're spraying and how you're spraying it. So when you're spraying around the light fixtures that are bringing them in close, that's going to help eliminate those spiders. Are you spraying, the lawn or the bushes? Are there trees overhanging? Because if there's overhanging trees, you may not actually even be able to really do much at that point because they're up in the trees. And I know you're not spraying the trees, I would assume.
Yeah, no.
So
no.
Yeah, so in some of those cases, spiders are always a very interesting one. But I am excited because I just found out a product I've talked about on the podcast. It's called Fendona. Barely got approved in California.
Okay.
And so I've heard that is a miracle worker with spiders, and I'm going to try it.
That's awesome. I hear that from your episode and other people that they don't use it much. The Essentria IC3 works amazing too. So, I mean,
yeah. So we use Essentria we don't use every service.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah. Essentria is it's a super fast knockdown. So if you want to see spiders drop out of eaves real quick and dead, yeah, throw Essentria in there. That one is another more expensive product. But that's the one thing on the owner's side, and that you're not really in that situation, so it kind of sucks, but you don't get to decide, what he's willing to spend.
Exactly.
But when you get, higher end products they are going to be more expensive, but you also get the results of that as well. So if you're going to go with super cheap products, you're going to get, what it's worth. You're going to have a lot of issues. You're not going to really take care of anything. So, But yeah, so I mean, that's, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how we do it. But now I'm going to look up that whole pool cage, or what is it called?
Well, yeah, I guess pool cage, screen enclosures. I guess we have it more for the mosquitoes, but so that you don't have mosquitoes just, when you're going swimming. But I just assumed every home that had a pool had a pool cage, So that's mind blowing to me that you guys have pool cages.
You need to come out to California. You need to come back home. That's what you need to do.
I do.
You need to come. You need to come home and see what it's like out here. And to be honest with you, so I've been to a few different states, but Florida is one of the only ones I've actually seen that with.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So Las Vegas doesn't have it. Yeah, like Las Vegas doesn't have it. Arizona doesn't have it. I know Utah doesn't have it. Oregon doesn't have it. California doesn't have it. So I am really interested to find out what's the point of it or the purpose.
That's so funny. And literally, there's this route. Part of my route got extended to this island. It's called Sanibel. Uh-huh. And on this island was the first time where I saw homes that had pools without pool cages. And I just thought it was like a real rich thing, pool cages are just, they're not needed, like you have someone service your pool 3 times a week and they don't have pool cages, So it's weird. I thought everybody had pool cages. So I'm listening to podcasts all over the place trying to hear what people are doing for spiders on their pool cages. So you should do some research and help us out. Help us Florida boys out.
Hey, I will do some research, but I just looked up why Florida has pool cages.
And do not say gators. Do not say gators.
It actually does not. It actually says it's part of a safety requirement in Florida. So It says it's pool safety requirements, and they also provide a great barrier to bugs and harsh sunlight. So there you go.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
Oh no! Wait! This is even better. So I just clicked on a website. It pulled me into it. So it says a pro. Let me read it. So one of them is. So it helps with insects, dust, and debris like fallen leaves, and unwanted visitors, snakes, uninvited guests, birds, and of course, alligators. So I wasn't too far off.
No, I guess not.
Oh man, it's great to be sheltered. You just don't know. So, but Naeem, thank you so much for being on. This was a ton of fun, and we'll definitely keep in touch, and I'll have you on in the future for sure. With some of the things hopefully that goes on in your life, you got to keep me posted on some of that stuff. So,
yes, sir.
All right, man.
Yes, sir, for sure. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have a good day. Thank you. See you later.
All right, bye.
So another super fun, hilarious episode with Naeem, just talking about, what it is to be a technician in a different area. And even though we live on literally the other sides of the U.S., I mean, he's in Florida, I'm in California. It's super fun to see that, what he does over there and what's going on over here. So take that in, learn from that, learn from his experiences, learn, from even his knowledge of where he's finding some of the things that he learned and what he's doing. And like a great experience is, taking care of German roaches. That's amazing. That he ended up finding out a whole new treatment on his own and not from his company. And now he's providing that additional service for them. So take that and learn from that. But guys, you can always reach out to me at DNA Pest Podcast on Instagram, or you can send an email at dnapestpodcast@gmail.com, or go to the website and subscribe, or you can even put in there to be a guest at dnapestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.